So a question I'm posed very frequently is, should I accept an associate position when offered a potential buy-in at some point in the future? Great question. So let's dive into this. If you're a soon to graduate student or maybe a practicing chiropractor searching for your next professional step in your career, this is an extremely important decision to make. And if you're dead set on being an associate as opposed to opening up your own clinic, it's crucial that you pick the right opportunity and not just the first position that comes along. So hello and welcome, but before we dive in, make sure that you're subscribed to this channel so that you can continue receiving videos such as this, and give us a thumbs up to make it easier for other chiropractors to find this content. Now in this video today, I'm going to discuss buy-in opportunities, how to evaluate them, how to determine if you'll ever get the chance to even own part of that practice, even when the employer promises it'll happen sometime in the future. I'm Dr. Chris Tomshack, CEO of HealthSource, America's chiropractor, and you're watching the Chiropractor Solution channel, which is a video series that we put together to help you grow your chiropractic practice and, of course, your career, both professionally and personally. They both matter. One of the biggest mistakes I see is when a chiropractor, typically a younger chiropractor, is promised a future opportunity to buy into the practice and no real details or specifics are given on how that is going to occur. So for this to ever become a reality in your future, a buy-in clause should be part of your employment contract. Matter of fact, it has to be part of your employment contract. It should be spelled out exactly what this means, how much is going to be the buy-in, and when it can be accomplished. It really has to be described in micro detail or it'll never happen. So I'm curious, first of all, have you ever been promised a buy-in opportunity as an associate? How did it work out for you? Please leave some comments in the section below so that everyone can see what worked and what did not, and then conclusions can be drawn. Now, the right position for you should be so much more than a nebulous promise of future ownership percentage in that practice. And salary should be about in the midpoint of the reasons why you should accept a position. It's important, of course, but there are many more important tangible and intangible factors. So for instance, a few crucial questions for you to ask this future employer are, what are the opportunities for growth as a doctor? Is there a training program so that I can learn practice and clinic systems, or am I supposed to just mimic what you do? Who will help me create effective treatment protocols? How do I learn about getting better patient outcomes? How do I learn about getting more new patients? Is there potential to earn bonuses? Well, how? Who pays my malpractice premium? Is there paid vacation, PTO, etc.? Do I have to do all your patient exams? What about your x-rays? Will I be stuck in your rehab bay ad nauseum? When do I get to adjust patients? When do I have to do spine screenings? How often and how long? Is your office an adjustment factory that doesn't incorporate all the technological advances in our profession for even better patient results? Or is it inclusive? Now, you might be thinking, well, that's a ton of questions to throw at the doctor, right? Not really. These are expected. They're hypercritical questions, and you need the answers to them well before you make a decision on accepting a position. This is your future. It's not a dress rehearsal. And if you were offered a buy-in potential, there are many more questions you need to ask as well. So first, you want to know when you're going to be able to own a piece of the practice. When's the buy-in happen? You'll want to know what the trigger is that makes it actually happen. Now, it needs to be written down in your employment contract or it will not occur. Next, you need to understand how much it's going to cost you to buy in and how much of the practice you're going to own. If the owner is telling you that he'll simply give you a percentage of the clinic for your sweat equity, well, that's great, but let's get every detail written down. How much of the practice will you own? And what will it take to get you the sweat equity ownership? When will it be triggered? How is it triggered? If the practice for some reason suffers a cash crunch, do you have to kick in some operating capital? In other words, cash to pay the bills? What happens if the clinic has a bad month? Do you still get paid? You'll also want to know how many personal expenses the doctor is running through the practice right now, such as maybe cars, gas, food, office supplies. All these expenses drop the profit, and as an owner or as a future owner, that could drastically cut your distributions or your bonuses. So on that topic, if you are ever granted some ownership, what does that really mean? Do you now receive a percentage of the profit every single month? or every single week? And who defines the term profit? And exactly how is it defined? Are there professionally audited financial statements, like a P&L statement, profit and loss statement, balance sheet, etc., a statement of cash flow, so that you actually know the financial numbers are accurate? This is really important. So as you can see, evaluating an associate position when they offer you a promise of future ownership, it's complicated. It's a lot more complicated than you might think. Might be a great deal, might not. And let's face it, I talk to hundreds and hundreds of associate doctors, and most promises of ownership as an associate, they just don't take place. But don't give up hope. There are some great opportunities for you, but you must evaluate a lot of them in detail before making this really important choice for your career. So, have you ever gone through this process? How did it work out? Let us know in the comments section below. This is where everybody can learn from everybody's prior experience. You know what? I almost forgot. There is one type of ownership you might be promised that's fantastic in theory, and we launch a lot of clinics this way in HealthSource, but you have to be very careful when evaluating this type of opportunity. So that opportunity is when the owner tells you that when you're ready, they're going to build you a practice for you, and you run it, and maybe a few years later after it's built, you'll own it. Now, the big red flag here is, well, what's the trigger and how much of it will you own? And what will it cost you? Do you have to pay? When? How much? Payment schedules. Do you have to pay anything in addition to the normal buy-in? And how will you ever become the sole owner? These questions, well, backtrack. The answers to these questions, they must be put in your employment contract as well. All this stuff needs to be in there. When this is all clearly spelled out or described in great deal in your contract, and you're comfortable with the scenario, perhaps this is a perfect position for you. You're maybe with a fantastic doc. And also, your vision must align with the vision of the clinic owner, or this would just be a waste of a year or two for you. And life's too short to waste 24 to 48 months when you could be building your dream practice instead of building someone else's, right? Now, if you're evaluating some job offers and they're promising you future ownership, tell us about it in the comments section below, and I look forward to reading them and hearing what you're going through in your decision process. But remember, get the answers to every applicable question we just talked about so that you're equipped to make the right decision for you, which means you're going to need to watch this a couple times or record it. Now, if you found this video interesting and helpful, grab our free report for chiropractors at hsfranchising.com. It'll show you how to scale your career. It's the game plan that we followed to make 2021 our very best year of growth we have ever experienced. We blew away our projections. You can too. So again, head over to hsfranchising.com. Check out our videos. I think you're going to love them. And as always, I welcome your feedback and opinions on this topic in the comments below. I look forward to hearing from you. Have an amazing day and a beautiful life.